And we are recording with my friend, Dr. George Fareed, on Friday, June 2nd, 2023 at 4:06 p.m. Eastern Time. It has been a minute since I've had you on, and I know that I've rescheduled you several times because I'm a terrible person and a terrible host. And actually, we were going to, I want to say a couple months ago, do a show when you were down in Antarctica, and I think I had to reschedule. I think it was, I had a terrible panic attack, and I remember
Oh, wow.
I had
I'm
to
sorry to
stop.
hear that.
No, it's
Yeah, I was down there confirming the glaciers are intact.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
very thick,
You
and
were sending me pictures; they were great, and I remember I
yeah,
had to cancel
I,
that, and
uh,
I'll never
yeah,
get that opportunity again.
Tommy, it's an honor to be on your podcast. You've been doing such great interviews and
Thank you,
so
sir.
crucial in so many areas now, but
Thank you, sir.
particularly the pandemic area, which I've been it's been my thrust for the last 3 years. And so, just in a nutshell, what I wanted to show a couple of little video clips and a few pictures from Antarctica, if you'd like,
Yes, sir. Please do.
and talk about that trip. I don't know if you are you sharing the screen
Yeah.
now?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are. Okay, I'm going to just let it go. We left from Ushuaia, Patagonia, in Argentina, on this amazing boat. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes, sir.
because I have some music playing. This ultramarine boat from Quark QARK expeditions is just incredible, and they had tremendous crew. We had lectures every day and disembarked on Kodiaks when we got to land, when the weather was suitable. Then we left Ushuaia and had 2 sea days or 3 sea days to get to South Georgia Island, and we in South Georgia Island was, I think, the highlight. Actually, that's just outside of the Antarctic. You want me to turn it down a little bit?
Yeah, turn it down because the microphone, it will try to cancel it out, and by
Oh,
doing so,
really?
it also kind of cancels out your voice. So,
Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Uh, you know, let me I mean, just watch this for a minute, and I don't need to
okay,
speak because it's
okay,
sort of nice video. These albatrosses and
okay.
amazing sea life.
But I'm not seeing it. You haven't started sharing.
I haven't shared it. Oh,
No.
I don't know how I go about sharing then. I thought it was on all the time. You said you
Uh,
saw it.
no, I turned it on. There's the green button at the bottom
The
of
green
this.
button at the bottom. Let me come back to that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
come back to Zoom. There should be a green button that says share screen.
Okay, let me see where that is. The green button at the bottom. Let me see where that is, Tommy.
You're good
What?
on Zoom.
Somehow I've lost that green button. I've lost the screen to see you. Where do I find that?
There should be a green button at the bottom of the
Oh,
app.
okay. Now I see. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
share screen.
yeah. And it should,
Okay,
and then you can choose. There we go.
okay.
Okay, yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, so let me just go back to this quick little video
Okay,
and then jump into what I wanted to tell you.
beautiful.
Well, I'm not sure. So we left Ushuaia on this ultramarine and head out to South Georgia Island. Took 3 days to get to, actually, with fairly calm seas, but that's Ushuaia that you're seeing there. And it was a nice group of people, 140, 150 passengers, and about the number of crew. And it was just beautiful waters. And then when we got to land, now this is still in Ushuaia. I'm going to jump ahead. This is in South Georgia Island now. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
And then I'll jump ahead again in the video. But that was the old whaling towns in that era that ended in 1954. And a lot of people had fun on the boat and we got the royal treatment, but really very scenic, beautiful
That is
albatrosses.
beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic. And then this is the landscape of South Georgia Island. And if I ever go back, I would just go to those islands, South Georgia, maybe the Sandwich Islands. But Antarctica was a thrill to be on and stand on, the seventh continent. We were on these zodiacs for disembarking and then greeted by seals and king penguins. and that's the boat. And that's what typical excursion with these beautiful king penguins, colonies 300, 400,000 strong. They all find their mates and find their babies after they go out fishing. And they, in any case, I gave a TED talk on the boat about treating COVID early and got a very good reception. Was part of it. A lot of nice people, and then magnificent scenery and sights. Very majestic.
Jeez.
Very cold also, but not. They were well prepared for it. The nice thing about South Georgia Island is the green, the landscaping with a lot of greenery in addition to the ice and the glaciers. I'm going to jump ahead here to another look. There are different kinds of penguins. These are still the king penguins there, and the boat in the background. And a lot of happy faces there.
It's so beautiful.
It really is. It's a different world, you
Yeah.
know. And now penguins are my favorite animal of all time.
Okay.
They're particularly the king penguins. They're just so nice and it's amazing, so dignified.
So alien. Jeez.
Well, sort of living it up in the under the circumstances. We had a few bad weather days, not really serious ones. So
Yeah.
they had 2 helicopters on this boat. So we got a great helicopter excursion over the coast of Antarctica. I'll show you a little bit about. Saw a lot of whales, and then this is icebergs and some calving took place, but mostly magnificent glaciers, humpback whales and killer whales and fin whales. That's a typical zodiac for 10 people per zodiac on an excursion. See the whales nearby. Try not to fall over. And that's the Grive Beacon town, the head town of Whaling, has the relics and mementos of that era. They have the gravestone of Shackleton, famous explorer.
Yeah.
From Endurance.
Jeez.
Well, that's Antarctica. That's where we were. We stepped on that. That's as much as we stepped on in the continent of Antarctica. At least we stepped on something.
That's wild.
Those types of pictures, mementos. We're well insulated with these parkas and other items, layers of clothing you wear to keep warm. So when the ice melts, it gets compacted. It's not pure salt water. Those are leopard seals.
So incredible.
And then other humpback whale, I believe. That's it. Work expedition on.
Jeez.
Sorry for the noise in the background.
No, I can't hear it. Those whales look like sea monsters.
Beautiful icebergs.
Yeah.
We didn't Oh yeah, you have to watch this. I did this. You'll see what happened. This is the highlight of the trip.
Okay.
That this is called the polar plunge,
Oh God.
and the I have
You're
a
you're a braver man than I.
anyway. I was one of them who jumped in.
Oh no.
1 degree centigrade water, but it felt great. I'm recommending it to my patients now to do um, a, a, a plunge, ice water plunge just for 20, 30 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, it's very good. Your surface blood vessels constrict suddenly, and all the blood goes to the core, and you just swim right out. But it's a very good thing for the body. I recommend doing it once a month if one can.
How cold was that?
It was 1 degree centigrade.
Yeah, but I mean, like, no, subjectively, what did it feel like?
No, it was fine. I felt
Okay.
I mean, I immediately started to vow make sure I could swim. People lived it up. And it was a great experience. 2 weeks, probably the
That's
best trip of my life, actually.
I've only ever been on one cruise, and it was with a girl I was dating at the time in 2014 with her family, and it was up in Alaska, and it actually visually looked very similar to this.
Oh,
And it
really?
was, yeah, it wasn't like a party cruise, it wasn't like going to get in we were just, we saw kind of a lot of the same, we saw like yeah, we saw icebergs breaking and flipping, we went whale watching, and it was just, I mean, it was the most. I always talk about it. You said it was the best trip of your life. That was the best trip of my life. It was the most surreal thing. Like waking up, it was, you'd be in a hot tub at 2 a.m. and it was sunny out, and you were just like watching whales. It was
There we are. There I am on Antarctica with my wife. And so, yeah, you're right. It's such a different world. You don't, and
surreal.
it takes you away,
It's psychedelic.
you it really is. So, uh, and they were just, I gave it a little, they called it um, so, and well, I've forgotten the name they used. It was a quark talk or Antarctic
Mhm.
talk
Yeah,
for about 5, 10 minutes about all that should have been done in the pandemic. These are different
I'm gonna look up that cruise. Quark
quark expeditions,
Quark
and
expeditions, Antarctica.
they're popular for all the poles, the North Pole and the South and Antarctica's South Pole.
That's I'm gonna look at it. I'm not that I have any money, but I'm absolutely gonna look at it and daydream. That's beautiful. Yeah, anybody listening, you need to watch this. This is absolutely. How does that? What effect does that have on your mind in terms? Because like when I came back from Antarctica, it was, or not Antarctica, Alaska. I went on that trip about 3 months after my older brother passed away, and despite being in the wake of such like a horrific experience, it was so overwhelmingly peaceful.
That's
What did
a good description. This is from the helicopter. This
oh
shot,
wow.
very nice. It's exactly that. It's so peaceful. This is again South Georgia Island. Some nice people, but I think that's a good way of describing it. It's serene and it puts you in a different perspective on the on our world.
That's got to change your outlook. Like when I went up there, I just had this, I don't know, when you see something so alien and stuff that is occurring on such a larger time scale than human life or even human, when they point at a mountain and they're like, that mountain's been moving for 400 million years, and it's like the pyramids were 5,000 years ago, it's been moving for 1,000 times longer. It
You're
kind of,
right.
it starts to shift your mind. For me, it was a very almost zen, peaceful, mixed with the, again, just losing a sibling. It kind of made me start looking at just the cycles of life and earth and nature, and it was really an overpowering sense of calm acceptance that
Mhm.
everything is, that like death is not to be feared. It is the next, it is as natural as the night. And I just remember leaving, and I haven't really thought about it. It's been almost 10 years, but there's just something so magnificent about it that it puts something at ease, like
You're right.
deep
Exactly.
inside of you.
Yes, exactly. So then that's about all I can say for Antarctica,
Jeez.
except that I enjoyed Argentina very much in Buenos Aires, and then this little port town Ushuaia that is at end of they call it the end of the world,
Yeah.
bottom of the world, but the amazing people on this boat, and it was great to have been able to do that, and then come back to reality. And so, should I stop sharing the screen?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Let's jump into I want to say
Okay,
I was gonna say do a total 180 from peaceful nature to, you know,
right.
present day life. But I've been seeing your tweets about primarily was it Health and Human Services and
Well, no, yeah, I've been trying to keep everyone up to date on new developments for in the battle for the pandemic and
uh-huh.
ending it as we best we can. And it's been so hard because of the mass vaccination program and the vaccine pressuring the virus to mutate and create variants. So we still have patients on ventilators. Are you still seeing my screen, or I'll stop the share?
There you go. There you go. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and so the culmination for actually recently for me was going to Phoenix, Arizona last week for Thursday and Friday with a tremendous group of people, including Peter McCullough and
Hmm.
Peter Corey and Richard Urso and OBGYN Dr. Layla Lewis, and speaking with on the record in their Senate. It was sort of historic in that it's the first state to have a Senate hearing on the pandemic. And this was, I mean, it was paralleled for me or comparable to me when I went in November of 2020 to Washington to the Senate. Again, a GOP based hearing, which was, this was also GOP in Arizona. There's still this party divide that the Democratic Party doesn't want to hear the facts or the truth, basically, or be totally receptive. Wants to fight whatever the GOP does, actually. So the GOP were very good people. The two senators were there. The top person there was Janae Shamp, Senator Shamp, who's a former registered nurse, and actually she worked with doctors that are friends of mine here in El Centro years ago. So she has a lot of memories of my area, which is the Imperial Valley, California, the southeast corner of the state. And then there's a Senator Shope and a representative, very sharp young man named Steve Montenegro, a state representative. But most of the other political people were just on online watching from Washington or in Washington for work, congressional work there. So that was the people on the panel on the lectern with Peter McCullough, myself, Layla Lewis, Richard Urso, and Pierre Corey, and then Aaron Siri. And Aaron is someone you should interview. Do you know who he is?
No.
He is an incredibly talented lawyer, who very successful, who turned about 40% of his efforts at a great sacrifice financially
I'll
to
make a note of
fighting
it.
the mandates and bringing into court the these bad biased review boards that approve the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, and that so not only also going to battle against the CDC to get the V-Safe data released that they didn't want to release.
Yeah.
That's the study of 10 million vaccine recipients that they've kept that has so much clear cut evidence and data, and they didn't want to release it to the public. The CDC, of all things.
Why?
And so that Aaron, it would be an amazing man. You should. I'll send you a few. I'll send you some links to him and some tweets.
Please do. Yeah, I
His
made a note of it.
presentation. I put them all on my Twitter feed. in short little 2 to 2.5 to 20 minute, 2 minutes and 10-second clips of the different presentations of these different panelists or expert witnesses. And Aaron I didn't know of him personally, but I'm totally impressed and admiring of his capability and dedication. So I'm glad to acquaint you with him,
Please do.
and
I'd love to have him
if you,
on.
yeah, he would be. I'd really like you to, Tommy. But your great friend Peter was on my right on the lectern, and Peter McCullough, and of course he has so much facts and
He's a walking
in mine.
encyclopedia.
Yeah, he's an encyclopedia of all the
Genius.
literature. So I would make my presentation and statements, and then he would add in so much to provide the validation. And that's what happened during that 2 days, 8 hours per day, and Thursday the 25th and Friday the 26th. It's online at the America Best website or something of that name, a name of that type. I think I'll have to get that to you also, Tommy. I think I did send links to you by
Yeah.
text message.
And
The recordings are there of the full hearings, and the audience was a tremendous audience and very appreciative, and they stayed through the whole thing actually. So 8 hours on Thursday, 8 hours on Friday, and that was a great. For me, it was an honor to be there, and as I said, it paralleled when I went to Washington and hoped things would change with our presentations on November 20th, 2020, inviting and telling people of the results of early treatment success with repurposed medications, and the fact that the whole pandemic would have been cut short if it had been adhered to, and millions, hundreds of thousands, at least in the United States, would have still be alive if they had not suppressed it and lied about it. And so my talk I gave on Friday morning, actually formal talk on that subject, and we then Richard spoke to amplify on early treatment areas, and then Pierre Corey made a very great presentation on ivermectin in particular, which is what he's found so effective, and which was also admonished or against and suppressed with the intention of just the vaccine platform being the only area to be offered, and people would they didn't care about people dying. I called it a callous indifference to human death
yeah,
and human suffering. And so that's really what it was, a callous indifference.
a, 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 a total. I don't think we've ever seen such an apathetic disregard for.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you always expect certain amounts of evil and greed to occur, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if the low end number for vaccine injuries, right? I mean, what do you think for just timestamp Friday, June 2nd, 2023? What do you think about the rumor circulating now about famous actor Jamie Foxx
Right.
being
I think
paralyzed
it's
and blind?
Yeah, I think this is inexcusable that there's a mandate or forcing of ineffective gene therapies that just are fraught with side effects of magnitude that may great magnitude of particularly thromboses and strokes and myocarditis and other vascular abnormalities and neurological abnormalities, and plus their effects on the reproductive organs in women and young men. So it's a callous indifference to human suffering. They should never have been offered or forced on people, but that they haven't officially confirmed that about Jamie
It's still
Foxx.
speculation. No, you're right.
Yeah, but I think it's likely to explain it, and it's something that will hopefully come out as to the
It,
explanation.
it's it's unfortunate, but this is often how things change. Is you know, nobody cares about the unpopular war until some senator's son is drafted, right? And then
Yeah,
it
that's
changes.
right.
And
Yes,
it's an unfortunate aspect of, I guess, what we are as a species and our mass psychology, but that's another discussion for another time. And it's the reality is that is often what changes things. This is a high profile death, right? Michael Jackson with propofol, or no one ever thinks twice about helicopter safety until Kobe Bryant, right? And
right,
this is stuff that happened, or Prince with fentanyl, or I think even Coolio, the rapper from my generation, a little older than me, from fentanyl. And we don't really pay attention to these things, or we don't give it the attention we should until we can no longer ignore it. And I think, there's rumors about other things, but Jamie Foxx has, up until now, survived. Do you think that this will be, and if it won't be him, it'll be someone, whether it's athletes dropping on the field, there is a point where you can't shy away from it anymore.
oh yeah. Well, I think in particular, if you listen to this, the talk of Aaron Siri, you get tremendous insights into all of
Okay.
that. That's what his real commitment is, to bringing the truth out and doing things, eventually seeing that people get held accountable that are the murderers.
Hmm.
And if you look at what's happening in France to Didier Raoult, I don't know if you've followed that at all. With
I don't know what's
he
happening.
Oh, it's horrible. And also, I spoke in Brazil a year ago at the Doctors for Life meeting in Iguazu Falls in July. And two things in parallel right now, for some reason, it's coincidental. The French now are realizing, seeing the data, that the information that he and his team of great doctors have published on 30,000 or more people in COVID-19 patients in Marseille treated with his protocol that we followed. Basically, we modified it. We made changes that were really very good, I believe. But his basic protocol of hydroxychloroquine and zinc, based upon years and years of information that showed that HCQ, hydroxychloroquine, was a antiviral, effective, promising, and worthwhile. In any case, they documented all their work that they'd been presenting in different ways and published the compendium of it all, 30,000 or more, with I think 4,000 that were hospitalized. And all the data showed the remarkable survivability when these patients were treated, and also in the outpatients, those that were spared of hospitalization. And when the groups that were attacking him in northern France, in Paris, were unfounded, and their results are terrible. And it's yet what they've done now is they've come out and said that he published, or he carried out an unauthorized trial, and should be prosecuted for that, of all things, an
Kind of,
unauthorized
kind of,
trial.
kind of a kind of an
That's what
ironic
because they back then, when they lied about hydroxychloroquine and slanderized people on utilizing it, and also had all sorts of bad, faulty studies that were designed, that were retracted, or at least corrected later, with that gave them the thrust to say, don't use this medication.
Yeah.
And most of 90% or 95% of the doctors in France and all over Europe were were then too afraid to move forward, like Raoul was doing. And so what they're doing now is he's actually calling for a parliamentary investigation, based upon what happened then, and about on behalf of all the people that died in France that should never have died. And this entity that was that's funded everything that's gone on in the pandemic has come up with this lawsuit against him as a uh, uh, to have carried that he should never have done what he did, basically. But then in parallel, just coincidentally, that group in Brazil, the Doctors for Life, that had the great Congress on the pandemic that I spoke at, and others were there. You may recall, but they're being sued for publicizing the possibilities of early treatment, and there's a $2 to $3 million lawsuit against these people that and so who knows what's going to happen here to Brian Tyson and myself or others here in the United States, but as time in the near future. But something's going on that's coincidental. Those two things happening to the best of the best that were out there with the humanitarian commitment and saving lives and telling the truth. They don't. These people in this entity that's behind all this and these associations for instance, in France, don't want it to be known that they're mass murderers.
Well, of course, right?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
I always use this example, and I think the prison was called Ashcan. It was an Allied prison in summer 1945 after Hitler died, but before Japan surrendered, where we had all the top Nazis there, the top of the top Nazis, and these guys were all selling each other out. They're interrogated one at a time, and they were all selling each other out. They're like, "Listen, I'm not a Nazi. The rest of these guys are evil. I'm just a scientist."
Yeah,
And they,
no, that's yeah, exactly. That's
but
what's
then they would
happening.
all go have dinner or something, and they're all the best of chums. We're all the top Nazis and we're buddies. And uh, when you read about that, at first it's kind of shocking that they all sold each other out, and then I always kind of chuckle and I go, well, if they're Nazis willing to kill millions, then yeah, they're also willing to lie about their friends or, throw each other under the bus. So I can't help but have that same realization when it's like, yeah, if they killed millions of people around the world with this vaccine, then they're
No,
also probably
it's
not
not
too
not just no,
hesitant.
it's not just the vaccine, Tommy.
Well, and
It's
also blocking early
the
treatment.
the the the
That's the
the,
big one.
the chimeric virus that
Yeah.
was released and
Well,
out there.
everything,
Yeah,
funding gain of function, releasing it, suppressing, not
yeah,
putting in travel bans, pushing a harmful vaccine, suppressing alternative, safe treatments, the entire smorgasbord of you're a mass murderer. Well, if they're willing to do all of that, they're probably also willing to sue some doctors. That's kind of my logic is,
yeah.
and it
They
doesn't
may
make
be.
it any better, but we just
It
shouldn't be
is. It's
surprised.
a possibility. I hate to say that. You're right, Tommy.
Um, But as with everything, I mean, kind of back to the Alaska, Antarctica, you
Sure.
do you but really, when you think about the time scales of that, right? How a glacier can carve through a mountain of granite. It takes a billion years.
Yeah,
But
you're
it
right.
just
You're
nature
right.
doesn't think about trickling water that carves through mountains. So we're only what June 2023. COVID is, we'll just call it January 2020. We're only 42 months, what say, wait, 12, 24, 36, 42 months into this. It's gonna take, yeah, they're still gonna keep the lie going. They're still gonna keep the censorship
Yeah,
apparatus and machine
exactly. Yeah,
going.
yeah. That's
But
right.
zoom out to that glacial pace. They will be ground down. There's nothing that can stop it. The truth always comes out. It might not be in our lifetimes, but
Oh,
it's going to
better
come
be.
out.
I hope you're right.
No,
Not
I hope it is
in
in our
yours,
lifetimes.
not in mine, but in yours.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy, I that's why this Aaron Siri was so good to learn from
Yeah.
and appreciate what he's stood for and what he's doing.
Absolutely.
I think you'll find. I hope you'll get him on your podcast.
I
I'll
will.
send you a link
Yeah.
to him.
I made a note of them. I made a note of
Oh,
them. I'm hoping you do put me in touch with them. Um,
great.
yeah, what was I gonna say? I was just lost for words. You were just saying something. You said Tommy. You it's
I think I was just complimenting on what what you
oh,
have been doing
thank you,
so
sir.
well, and that when you get other great people like Peter McCullough, and I don't know if you've had Richard Urso
I
on your,
have.
have you? Yeah,
Yeah,
Richard's a
I love
great
that
guy, and
guy.
yeah, he's great, and so I'm part of that group. I'm on their weekly Zoom meetings,
Yeah.
and they
Well,
only have great intentions. It's just that they um, there's it's hard to see the outcome or the changes like this historic Senate hearings in Arizona on last week. I'm hopeful. I would think it would make a big impact, but then you get these rags coming out and trashing, demeaning people, the GOP and me and my other witnesses on the lectern, and that gets out there, unfortunately.
but that doesn't make it any better, but that's expected. It's not
I
gonna
know. Yeah, it's not. You're right about that.
I'm with you. It's demoralizing and it makes you angry, it makes you sad, it makes you want to give up. But there's also, you know, like losing weight. It's not easy. You're a month in and you're like, it's not going fast enough. And it's like, yeah, if it was easy, everyone would have a six pack, but it's not easy. And
That's right.
that's why it's a battle worth fighting. And so, I mean, if this is all true, that right, a man-made bioweapon was released and then a dangerous vaccine was pushed on everyone, and there was a coordinated media campaign to shut everything up. And
Mhm.
when we're looking at the scope of this apparatus, well, then yeah, it's not going to be beat in a year by a couple of people on podcasts. It's going to take a long time, so it doesn't make it any better. But I think there's also like, yeah, we shouldn't be surprised. Like, of course,
You're
the
right.
demon
Yeah,
is gonna fight
exactly.
back, right?
Yes, I would agree. That's correct.
Um, and this is so one thing people have been asking me about lately more often than not, um, is what they and I'm pretty sure the answer is nothing, but I'm not a doctor, so I figured I'd ask you. Is people want to know what can they do if they've taken the vaccine? Is there anything they can do to mitigate damage? And I don't know what the answer is, but I have told them I would ask you. Is there anything people can do? Or is it just
Yeah, yes,
live
definitely. There
health?
are things.
Okay.
It also depends on if they're symptomatic with any side adverse reaction or not. If there's no adverse reaction and their health is strong and good, they can just have a well balanced meals and also healthy meals and be active in terms of exercise and also good supplements with the right nutrients and supplements
Hmm.
that are worthwhile. But if they do if they've had an adverse reaction, it needs to be treated and corrected. And if there's an one of the treatments now for the spike protein, that's the source of the problems,
Hmm.
or the lipoprotein nanoparticle in different organs of the body. But with the spike protein, there are ways of mitigating it or reducing it, and one of the prominent ones is nattokinase, and that the product that is absorbed from the intestinal tract and has a ability to break it down. That along with antioxidants like N-acetylcysteine is what I recommend often. I also recommend following the Bruce Patterson protocol if there's quite significant COVID long haul condition or vaccine adverse reactions, side effects like brain fog or other symptomatology with getting the INSOKIND testing done of the immune system and of the T cells and cytokines that is a panel through his company called InCell DX, and it's at covidlonghaulers.com. on the internet, and that confirms if there's an abnormality that may be amenable to treatment with the medicines that he's found helpful for blocking the spike protein that is in atypical monocytes from interacting with blood vessels. A medicine called Maraviroc and or Cellcentry and Pravastatin, a statin medicine that blocks some of the interaction with receptors on the blood vessels that allow these monocytes to dissipate and leave the body. But there are protocols with great combinations of agents that would be useful to be taking and being treated with if one is symptomatic. If there have been no symptoms whatsoever and it's been months and months since the vaccine, then there shouldn't be a problem for the person.
Okay. And if anybody wants to, I mean, in the description is the link to your book as well as your Twitter feed, which is what I would highly recommend, as I am simply the messenger from Dr. Freed to you guys.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Dr. Freed, if we can wrap this one up, I gotta start preparing for the next one.
Absolutely. No, thank you for your time, Tom.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on here. And thank you for, I know we were supposed to do a podcast with you in Antarctica, which would have been awesome. But again, that's my fault. I had to cancel that. But Dr. Freed, as always, it's an honor to have you on here. Please do.
Oh, Tommy, by the way,
sir.
I'm my next trip in August, we're going to the Galapagos Islands. Maybe we can do a podcast from there.
Please do. I would love that. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Do some Darwinian.
Yeah, I'm good. These trips are
meta-themes.
too many that I didn't realize. Think of I'd be traveling this year as I am, but these special things occurred that I accepted for my wife and myself, and we're going in the end of August and early of September to Kenya and Rwanda to see the silverback gorillas and the migration.
Dr. Freed, the globetrotter. Well,
I know.
I mean,
I'm getting pretty old. I have to get it in.
Got to get it in now. Well, I will happily do podcasts from there. I'll be your cameraman. You can bring me along. I'll follow you around. I'd happily do
it.
But Dr. Freed, thank you so much. Please text me if you could put me in touch with Aaron Siri. I'd love to have him on.
Oh, I shall. Right after we finish here, I'll have to get that to you.
Dr. Freed, I love talking to you, and I love you as an individual and as a doctor. You're an incredible person, and it's an honor to know you, and it's an honor to have you on my show. Thank you.
Well,
sir.
Thank you, Tommy. I'm in admiration of everything you've accomplished and are doing. Keep up the great work.
The admiration is mutual, my friend. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Guys, please go grab his book. Follow how he and Dr. Tyson have cured thousands and thousands of people. And please go follow his Twitter. And Dr. Freed, I look forward to the next one, sir.
Very good. Me too. Have a great weekend, Tommy.
Thank you so much. You as well.
Okay.